I've noticed a common theme that's not really talked about, and I guarantee the next time you go through Resident Evil, watching the movies, playing the games again, you're not going to be able to unsee this. It's the common theme of revenge. Not every villain is motivated by it, but it does appear often enough throughout the series that I started to see this as a pattern. James Marcus, Carla Radam, Glenn Arias, Dylan Blake, Curtis Miller, different people, different circumstances, but all of them have become trapped by something that was done to them. Research on revenge often connects it to rumination, the tendency to replay a wound instead of moving beyond it. And so the more I thought about this, the more I was like, okay, well, Resident Evil is now becoming this story about people who stop growing after their trauma. They calcify in their trauma. They become stuck in the moment where they got hurt. And everything that they do afterwards is shaped by that specific wound. James Marcus is probably the best place to start because his revenge is very direct and it's an RE0. He helped to build Umbrella, gave the company some of its most important research, and then Umbrella repaid him by having him murdered. However, when Marcus comes back through the Queen Leech, he returns with revenge to make Umbrella suffer. Vengeance keeps him caged in rage, in the seething hate he had when he died. However, that is just one example. Let's look at Curtis Miller from the CGI movie Resident Evil Degeneration. He represents a different consequence of revenge, because if you didn't know this, there is another common theme that perseveres throughout all of Resident Evil: escalation. Everything starts small and contained until it explodes and becomes bigger than what anybody can handle. Curtis is consumed by the need to make other people look at what happened to him. He lost his family during the Raccoon City outbreak, and that alone would break most people. I love my wife, that would definitely break me. But what pushes him even further is everything that happens after. The government cover-ups, the Umbrella corporate lies, the way entire institutions work to bury the truth, to bury his family. Curtis hates the fact that the people responsible are getting away with everything and that nobody will know the truth. That's why he injects himself with the G-Virus. He becomes this grotesque demonstration that says, hey, this is what's going on under your guys' noses. And Curtis is actually not the only Resident Evil character who falls into this same pattern. Jason from Infinite Darkness arrives at a similar conclusion after Panam Stan, becoming obsessed with exposing the truth powerful people would rather keep hidden. Same, but different. But let's get even deeper than this. Carla Radam from Resident Evil 6. She was violated, lost ownership of herself. She was this gifted geneticist who helped to create the C-Virus. But Derek Simmons, who was obsessed with Ada Wong, uses Carla's own research and body against her, forcing her to become this physical duplicate of the woman that he wants. That violation does not only belong to Carla either, she's the direct victim, but it also extends to Ada. But with Carla, she is one of the main reasons that Resident Evil 6 even happened. She wanted to punish and get revenge against Simmons and the family by ruining what they were trying to do, and so that's why she tried to spread the C-Virus worldwide and also release chaos. It could have been this global catastrophe that destroyed the world, and it came from Carla's revenge. But I understand. Morpheus D. Duvall, the female tyrant. He was betrayed and humiliated. Umbrella used him as a scapegoat for Raccoon City, pinned him as their fall guy, and as a consequence he would steal from them and then use their ship and research to hold USA and China hostage so that he could blackmail them to get enough money to go build a kingdom in Africa. Then we have Glenn Arias, probably one of the most outstanding characters representing revenge from the CGI movies. Prior to the events of Resident Evil Vendetta, Arias has criminal connections and black market dealings, but there is still a future that he wants for himself. He wants a family, a beautiful family, a normal life, but on his wedding day, a government strike turns that future into a graveyard. Everybody around him is killed. His friends, his family, all murdered, except for Diego and Maria. Actually, they would end up seeking revenge and working with Glenn as well. But this guy goes crazy. His grief just expands and escalates, and he makes it his mission to make the world experience the same helplessness that he felt on his red wedding. Why should anybody else be spared? He wants other people to wake up and find everything they love has been taken from them. But even after his death, the vendetta continues. With her friend Glenn and her father Diego dead, Maria really has nobody left, and so she carries that into RE Death Island, further showcasing that revenge is often this pit hole that you can't climb out of, and oftentimes it just results in more pain. She ends up working for Dylan Blake. He has lost faith in humanity. Long before the events of Death Island, Dylan was an Umbrella security soldier during the Raccoon City outbreak, and when his squad becomes infected, he is then ordered to execute the very people he had been fighting alongside. But then the years pass, and he keeps seeing the same patterns repeat. More bioterrorism, more cover-ups, more corporations playing with human lives and the government there to lie for them afterwards. And at some point, Dylan starts seeing these tragedies as proof that nothing changes, nobody learns, the same horrors are going to repeat themselves over and over again no matter how many villains are stopped or how many people are saved. This guy has seen the same thing happening over and over again since 1998. His revenge escalates, it mutates into something beyond just revenge. It becomes his world view that humanity is the problem and they need a global reset. But the interesting thing is the contrast. Resident Evil is full of people who experience horrific traumas but never go down this path. The heroes do something that the villains don't. They change. Chris, Leon, Claire, Jill, Rebecca, Billy, they are not untouched by trauma. We see it throughout the games and the movies that these guys, these girls, they break down. They become cynical. They have seen entire cities fall and people die around them. They carry guilt and grief. These are things that stay with them. But they don't build their entire lives around retaliation. They continue to form bonds and protect people. They keep looking for reasons to fight. It would be so easy for any of these guys to just flip the switch and be like, you know what, I don't feel like protecting people anymore. I don't want to fight the good fight. I think the world needs a reset and it's time to change things and I'm going to be the villain. Imagine how screwed the world would be if Rebecca became a villain. She is a genius who engineered 2 major vaccines against the T virus and the A virus. So imagine if she decided, you know what, I'm going to create my own virus and the entire world is just screwed. Or Leon. This guy kills so many people by accident. Imagine if he was actually trying.